This is Bishop Samuel Blakes, and you're listening to Real Talk with Mary J.
Happy Merry Monday, everybody. You're tuned into Real Talk with Mary J. Real Talk with Mary J is a social outlet for a positive outcome, and I am so elated to have you to share with us today. Listen, we deal with social topics all the way from social to spiritual, and I have one anointed and appointed man of God that has come to share with us today. We've been talking about strong men need strength too. We've been dealing with this subject matter for the entire month of June. Every year in June, right here on Real Talk with Mary J, I dedicate the entire month of June to men. So listen, I am again so ecstatic to have my special guest sharing with me. He is the founding pastor of Destiny Christian International Church. I am so excited to have him. He is a pastor, a father, a visionary leader, and a new grandfather. He is a teacher, a preacher, you all. He is somebody's pastor. I want you all to welcome on today's show, all the way from Fayetteville, Georgia, my special guest, Bishop Glenn Allen. Welcome, Bishop Allen.
Bless you. Bless you. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to have you. You've been on my show before. You dealt with the broken man. It was such a tremendous blessing. God just continues to use you in the area of manhood. And you just expound on areas that most men don't want to talk about. They don't want to discuss it. But I am so glad that you came on to talk about strong men need strength too. But before we get into the conversation, I know I gave them a glimpse of your bio, a tad bit of all of who you are and what you do. Can you go further and let the people know more about who you are and what you're doing?
Well, praise God. Thank you again for allowing me to be a part of this special show. I think it's helping so many people, and I'm elated to be a part of it. And thank you for keep having me come back and do something else.
Absolutely.
Of course, we have a lot of history, and we go back. My family there in New Orleans. I've come out of a wonderful, wonderful background church. Um, Bishop and Prophet Robert C. Blakes Sr., of course, now under the leadership of uh, Bishop Jr., and we are certainly glad to
Yeah.
have that type of lineage and history. Of course, coming from a strong background, a strong leadership, it has groomed us to be strong men. I was just telling somebody that all of our family was raised by a prophet, and he was a tough, tough leader, but he was making us tough for tough times.
That's
And
right.
I'm so appreciative for that type of leadership that he gave us. Of course, going to school and getting educated, but what's more important that the Lord called us to ministry, and all of the paths that I may have chosen to seek other avenues to go into for my life is concerned. I know this is my calling to preach the gospel and to be the pastor that I am today. And I thank God for the anointing that still rests on my life after 40 years of preaching. And
Wow. 40 years, Bishop?
yeah,
Gosh, what did you start? You started preaching when you were 10?
no, actually 19. This is going to 51 actually. So I just turned 60 last October. Yeah, so praise God.
Wow, you look fantastic, sir.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And just thankful that the Lord, my time I was up in New Orleans and during Katrina, that was my signal to go. And the Lord led me to this place here in Fayetteville, Georgia. Didn't know why, but as I'm here today, I can see clearly that this was all orchestrated by the hand of God to move me here, to get me planted here and to plant a successful ministry here. We've had upheavals and challenges, but certainly God has been faithful through it all. And I got married 3 years ago on the 23rd of this month, a couple of days. It'll mark 3 years. And thank God for my wonderful wife. I have wonderful children that celebrated
Amen.
me on yesterday. Just thank God for their voices ringing in my ear, how much they appreciate and honor me. And now I got a brand new grandbaby that's added, little Journey Grace,
Oh,
who's added to the family. Of course, all my focus is headed in that direction. I told the children just give up time is up. So we're going to focus on journey now. But I'm just grateful for the hand of God being faithful on my life throughout every step and stage of my life. And today I'm just honored again to be a part of this wonderful broadcast.
I again so happy to have you to share, because listen, it's not by accident. I believe that our steps are ordered by the Lord, and God just places in the right time and season where our paths can connect. And it just so happened years ago, Bishop, when I was online talking, and I think I was sharing from the subject called broken man, and you came on the feed, and God had already dropped you in my spirit. And when you came on and showed up, that was confirmation for me to have you to come on to deal with the subject matter of the broken man. And even since then, Bishop, I told you before, you blessed my heart. You sent me a message. You said, God said it's time to write the book. And that was confirmation for me as well, because God had birthed a book in me that I had just been holding on to, had not released the book yet. And you confirmed that. You confirmed that with a word from the Lord. And that really encouraged my heart too, to let me know that God said, listen, I have not forgotten about you. I put a book in you for you to release to the world. And when you gave me that message, I was like, wow. Yes, God did put a book in me to write in. So that was confirmation. So because of your obedience, I was able to release the book Intrigue, shifting your paradigm to produce positive, life-changing results. So thank you for supporting me in that endeavor, and also purchasing the books and just blessing me with that. Coming on to do that interview with me as well was just a tremendous blessing for me. So thank you again, sir.
Well, hey, my pleasure. And I tell you what, it's time for me to get in the pen and pad myself and start writing my own book. I'm getting over and over confirmation. So I know when my people are watching this, they say, yeah, he encouraged her to write her book, but when is it on his? And so I got to really get down to the nitty gritty, as my mother would say, and start doing what I'm supposed to be done. So I think it's time for me to get that done as well. So thank you for reminding me.
Well, good. Listen, iron sharpens iron, iron sharpens iron. So, Bishop, thank you once again, and hats off to you, grandfather. Happy Father's Day, Father's Day and Grandfather's Day as well, and to your beautiful family and your lovely wife. I thank God for all of you. But we're talking about on today, Bishop, strong men need strength too. Our men go through so many struggles, and when we think of strong men, we think of our leaders, we think of our pastors, our bishops, we think of our visionaries, our doctors, and every man that is a husband, I want to say, that is the leader of his household. Strong men need strength too. A lot of times I find, Bishop, that men don't really talk about their struggles. I always say that we as women, we're very talkative. Matter of fact, when I was in school, I was always told that I would talk too much. You're talking too much, keep quiet. I was very talk. The teacher really called my mom in for a conference, and she said she's too loquacious. She's always talking. I need her to be quiet in the class. I didn't know that same mouth would lead me into preaching and being on a platform. But women are very emotional feelers, so we don't mind sharing. We don't mind discussing what is on the table of our hearts. But a lot of times our men will go into the cave of their mind, and they would stay. And, they have all of these things and ideas and challenges that they're trying to overcome, that they would keep in the cave of their mind, and they're not opening up front. They deal with these weaknesses, but strong men need strength too. And I am so glad to have you on to talk about it on today, Bishop, as it relates to strong men needing strength too. Will you deal with that subject matter for us on today, as it relates to your journey of strength and how you got to the place where you are today?
Certainly, and I tell you, you just said something that really prompted me to think, about how men keep things locked inside. We have been trained to do so. We've been criticized and ostracized if we really voice our opinion. People saying you're whining or you're crying about life, and we've always been told to man up, and I don't know what that really means. It means to shut up. To shut up is to man up, to not be vocal, to not express what you're feeling, or not to be transparent. So then we've been forced into that cave to lock it all in, which is very dangerous because it can be very explosive at the end. Now he's ventilated in different areas. He's angry, he's frustrated, discouraged. He's taking it out on people who are innocent because he's had to lock it all on the inside. Even men don't want to hear from men who have something to say about what's going on wrong with their lives. I found this to be true even in my own personal journey. You do better talking to a woman and telling her, hey, I'm struggling with this, than telling the man, because the man most times won't understand. He don't know how to support a man, don't know how to give his undergirding to a man. So he ends up criticizing him, saying you should be better than this, you should be stronger than this. But every human being has a mental place and an emotional place that they may break down. And that may be something that taps in on that door to make them have to really deal with something, and they need an outlet. So we all have that. I've been there countless times where I need someone to talk to, and looked around at all the people I've counseled, all the people I've encouraged, all the people I've helped through their journey in situations. I had no voice to turn to. You're the strong one. So here it is. I'm the strong person. I'm the one that brings deliverance to your home, your marriage, your finances. But when it's something attacks my home or my marriage or finances, then they just leave me to deal with it, which is so unfair because it's not a reciprocated relationship. It's a relationship that you have to walk almost in solitude. You got a very few people that can meet you in that plane. So I just would encourage brothers, men, to be there for each other, to open up ears and to be transparent. When I was growing up, one of the cartoon characters that we saw, we deemed him to be strong was Popeye. All muscle. Everybody was. If you talk about strength, it was always muscles.
Right.
There's a lot of men who are physically strong, but emotionally burnt. They're battered. They're bruised. Mentally, they're at the edge. They're at their last fibers of mental capability. They've run out of fortitude to fight anymore, and so they've gotten weak. And so I've been there so many times where I just felt like giving up, and I had to reach within inside of my own self and do like David, encourage myself in the Lord and pray. But there's very few times that a person's been there to say to me, you got something greater to do. There are very few voices. I miss the main voice was from my mother that would not ever let us give up. She would always speak life to us and say, hey, keep it moving. You call your name before your name is Glenn B. Allen. Don't you forget. So it just recharged you and made you think about, man, listen, I'm not giving up. I'm not going to let this thing beat me. And but there are not many voices around that really kind of encourages you to keep it moving. So when you get weak, you got to check your circle.
That's good.
The circle that you have selected.
Yes.
Are they only good during your mountaintop moments, or can they handle your valley moments?
That's good, sir.
Your circle, if they get flaky during your trials or things they don't understand, you may be going through something very personal, and they say, well, I don't understand how you allowed this to happen.
Right. Right.
People look at you like you're supposed to beat off every demon. The Bible says many of the attacks that come upon the righteous, but God delivers us out of all of them. And so they come, afflictions come.
Yes.
But people are like Job. I was thinking about this morning. People are like Job's friends that came to just look at him and judge him and say, how did you get? But see, they didn't understand.
Right.
That's what you saw on the outside. Job superficially looked like he was beaten. He was a body full of sores. His
Hmm.
wife left, children all killed at one time, total wealth destroyed. Look like it's over with. So now I'm going to really put a flag in and stick a fork in you and
Right.
just and judge you. But Job had something on the inside that caused him to bounce back. And every man has it. He just needs someone to speak the word of affirmation to him, to remind him that there's a champion living on the inside of him, and he can make it through any situation.
Absolutely. You know, you talk about Joe Bishop, and I just did a preaching series, an entire series on broken, and the different series that I did, and I've gone through broken part 1 and 2, the process of being broken, and then surviving off the broken pieces, and I just dealt with the broken man, and Job was such a perfect example of a broken man, of just as you said, how he went through his struggles and had to overcome all of these challenges, and losing his family, his wife, his children, his cattle, his land, lost completely everything. And then people would begin to criticize and judge, and you must have done something wrong, Job. You know, you must have sinned some kind of bad, because the God that you serve wouldn't allow you to be in this place where you are. But you said it yourself, even strong men that go through these challenges of life go through, and it's a part of the process. It doesn't necessarily have to be some. It's self-afflicted, but then others that just go and deal with the pressures of life, they're being attacked on every hand just because of who they are,
Right.
you know, because of
Absolutely.
their stance.
Well, Job, what they didn't understand as well as Job understood how to bounce back.
Yes.
Instead of returning to his friends what they were giving him, look at his turnaround in chapter 42 when Job prayed for those people that were against him, that criticized him. Then the Lord gave him double. For it
Double.
only came after he prayed for them. The very people that wanted to see him fall and couldn't understand why he was going through it, Job said, let me turn my focus to them and let me pray for them and ask God to forgive them or do whatever he needs to do with them. Then God says, okay, since you're taking your focus off of you, I'm going to give you back everything that you lost, double fashion. So, you know, I would say that to every man that's watching this broadcast as well, that God will restore everything that you lost in double fashion. You got to take your eyes off of the hurt, the pain, the stuff that you're dealing with, and stay focused on your ministry. Hey, if you are called to preach and keep preaching, if you called to pray, intercede, keep doing that, to encourage, whatever the case may be, keep doing it. And as you focus on helping somebody else, God's going to attend to your needs.
Yes, definitely. He would definitely not only attend to the needs of people, but just as you said, give you double for your trouble.
Right.
You know, as you continue to just go through and endure the process of it all, he would give you double for your trouble. But you said something very interesting to me, Bishop, that I had never even thought about. When you said that a lot of times, even as a man of going through struggles, men don't usually turn to other men to talk to. I never even consider that you don't turn to other men to talk to as it relates to your challenges, your weaknesses, and those things that you're dealing with, that you're going through, because men will kind of criticize another man,
Yeah.
or feel that they're being weak and they're not really standing strong. It never really came across my mind, because we as women, of course, we turn to each other for
Right.
that support.
Because women
And
are more emotional and they're more
yeah,
understanding. They got a better ear to listen. They're more compassionate. And so when they hear about you going through something, they're ready to help absorb some of that from you. Hey, let me take some of that away from you. A brother doesn't really necessarily have that unless he's in my position where I have to do it. But most brothers, and especially if it's a brother having to deal with someone who's supposed to be strong, that's in my position. My position as a leader, as a pastor, bishop, people think you're never supposed to go through anything. You're supposed to be strong 100 all the time. And it really disappoints them when you're not.
Yes.
And I want to teach on this Sunday, but every man of God wants you to honor them and trust that they're being led by God, but never put your focus on me to the point you start thinking that I'm infallible.
Yes, that's good.
No, because guess what? Things come into my life as well, and I'm going to need you to pray me through it. But brothers don't really support like that. We have to learn to do so because we are very insensitive. We don't really think beyond. Our thinking process is totally different than a woman's. A woman's less concerned with what happened or how did it happen. She deals with what happened. A brother's first question is, how did that happen? He wants to know all the mechanics. He wants to know all the details. And man, you're going through something. You don't want to tell nobody all the gory details. You want to, I need to get down to the solution. And a woman most times don't want to hear all the stuff. She's like, are you hurt? Are you in pain? And they take it from there. And a brother don't think that way. He want to know what did you do? How did you let this happen?
Yeah. Wow. I'm fascinated. Every time we have these discussions, I am fascinated with just some of the things that we begin to peel back. That's why this is Real Talk. As you were talking and you were dealing with the way that men relate to things and how men are so guarded in certain areas of their life, and women want to know, are you okay? What can I do for you? That brings me back to what God showed me, Bishop, as it relates, and you're confirming it all. That's why I'm sitting here in awe of hearing you just share this. But God brought me back to the woman as it relates to God putting the man down, laying him down, putting him to sleep, and pulling from his side, from his rib, and made woman. And what God showed me about the rib is that the rib was taken from the rib cage that covers all of the man's most vital organs, taken from where his heart is. God saw fit for woman to be pulled from the area that actually covers the man's heart. So when you're talking and I'm like, wow, this is so much confirmation because of our sensitivity, because of our nurturing side, because of our tenderness, our femininity, that God saw fit for us to be connected beside the man, because he knew that that man would have to turn to his woman for that portion that is needed to protect his heart. That's why a lot of times women will stand up when it comes to their man, even in ministry. I know Lady G is holding it down over there at Destiny, when it comes to covering and making sure that everything is okay, that the house is in order and all those things are taken care of. And as it relates to just praying a man through and undergirding him and keeping him lifted, it is so needed. Because as I said before, strong men need strength too. And a lot of times you all, as I said, go through your struggles, your weaknesses, and fight these demons within yourselves in your mind, a lot of times not wanting to share it, not wanting to come out, not wanting to talk about it or to discuss these things. So you're just dead on with it this morning as it relates to strong men needing strength. Men don't pull from other men. I never thought about that. Never did.
It's almost biological that a man is great as he seeks the approval of his father. And the affirmation of his father is something he probably has to long await for. I mean, it's something, when he finally gets it, he's probably already accomplished something great. But the voice that's coached him to the place of greatness was probably his mother that made him, seek within himself the potential that he didn't even think that he had. So after he probably acquires the thing that he been searching for, his dad finally comes on and says, oh, you did a great job with that. But it was the mother's voice. And then you can see that in athletes, you can see it with anybody. The first voice that we listen for, the one that we were nurtured by in the womb, while we were in gestation, we heard that voice of our mother, that voice of our mother. So then it's natural for a man to turn to a woman and say, hey, I'm dealing with this. Now here's an issue when you turn to the one that you believe that's got your heart covered, that came from your rib, and she doesn't cover you. Now you got yourself a real big problem.
Yes.
Because I think what many people forget and is that man is not built, he's not made of stone. He's not as hard as he probably projects. If a man is strong and he's doing a lot of things, he's probably very vulnerable and very weakened by different things. He's carrying a serious load. And you can't remain strong while multitasking and trying to be successful, being a father, grandfather, visionary, all the things you put on me as a label. To uphold all those things, I'm juggling. So how much do you want me to juggle and then remain strong? So you got to understand, it's just enough for a man to be a man in this day and time. Just kind of carry the load of being a man and being a husband, a father. We talked about that yesterday. He's there to be the strong one in the house, to keep the house together, the protector, provider, and the priest. But there's another thing I brought up as well yesterday, that a lot of brothers are doing those three, but there's another one that needs to be implemented, and that is present. You got to be present.
That's good. You can stay, you can park it right there for a moment.
Yeah. So we give the priesthood, we pray with our families, we provide for them whatever they need. We substitute a lot of things and even protect them, make sure they're protected. But then we do all of that so we don't have to be present, and we go on to do our own agenda. Some of that is because of our juggling schedule. Like I'm trying to keep things afloat, so I don't know how to balance my work, even social life, the being present. So my children are starving for my presence when I'm giving them everything else. Says, hey, take this toy, take this car, take this bike, take whatever, and be happy with that, because I'm not going to be present. But that's the missing element to the whole building a strong family. Now, going back to the man, he thinks he is strong, doing a strong thing because he's doing what his father didn't do and grandfather didn't do. So I'm giving you priesthood, protection, and provision. Those things I didn't get from my father. So I surpassed those things, but there's still that one thing you're not doing, and that is you're absent. And I'm about to say something. I hope I can say it on this broadcast.
You know you can. This is real talk here. Real talk.
The way we label a child that is without a father is a word that we use vulgarly sometimes. That is bastard. And so we say a child that has no father, we don't know where his father is, he's a bastard child. Well, there's something worse than that. That is a child that's bastardized and his father's in the very next room. And he's not present. He's there, but yet not there. And so, man, we got to do a better job as men and being strong and teaching what real strength looks like, not the strength that we kind of got a portrait of from the world. What the Bible say a man should do, even a family should do, a wife should do. Also tackle this, and I believe this is a strong antidote for some of the things that we deal with. We study for everything. You know, you've been educated. I don't know what your trade is, but I know you went to school for it. We invest 4 to 6 years, 8 years into our profession. We're onward training. We'll do that for our professional life and the things that we call our vocation. When it comes down to your marriage, or come down to fatherhood, motherhood, or being a man of God, we put very little study into, or even research, or even continuous education, searching out how do I become a strong man? When was I saying you picked up a book to discover that? How do I become a better husband or wife or leader in my family? Most time we just think it's going to come through osmosis. I'm just going to pick it up in the air. It doesn't happen like that. You have to be intentional, because we don't have relationship. We don't have even structural intelligence for family. So we kind of get off, and that's what's weakening the family. The Bible says that where there's no knowledge, there's people perish. We're
That's
perishing because nobody knows. They don't even know they're weak. They're not. They don't think they're weak. They think they're doing something strong. So we got to strengthen men in intelligence as well. That strong man needs strength. You're already doing some of the things, but you need to do all of them to be complete. So the next generation has something different to work with.
Yes, wow, Bishop, you said that a man or a child can be born without a father and be called a bastard, but they can have a father within the home in the next room and not have any presence in that child's life, and that child can grow up just the same.
Yep.
Physically present, but emotionally unavailable.
Right. Emotionally, verbally detached. I'm here to, and I use this because my son and daughter that I've spent the last 10 years with, solely raising them, and to get them to adulthood. Their mother passed. I didn't know what fatherhood was. I was being a great dad. I was failing miserably as a father, and I didn't know it because they need a PlayStation. I got that, bikes, clothes. I buy them whatever they need. I put them in a wonderful house. I pay all the bills. They got my money, but they know me.
Yeah.
So when the mother passed, and I was forced to kind of take on a different role and learn that, hey man, these kids need me for more than financial or superficial stuff. And now I had to tap in and ask the Lord to help me be a better father. And now I'm dealing with their emotions, sit down having dialogue with them that I never had before, and ask them crazy questions that I shouldn't have asked, but ask them what didn't they like about me, and they told me. So and told me,
gotta be careful what you ask for,
right,
sir.
You really want to know? Are you going to whip us after we tell you? But it opened up a relationship value that I didn't have before. My children wasn't free to be human beings or individualists with me. I gave the command, they followed the commands of my little soldiers. But now we in this thing, we're a team. Everybody has a voice. I didn't have that voice with my dad.
Good.
And so I was absent. I was absent father until I was forced to be one. Great dad, but not a father. And I'm being transparent about that because so many guys, we're failing our families because we're substituting all types of things for our presence and our involvement in the family. And the Bible tells us that we got to raise these children up, train them up, but you can't train them up unless you're there. But that's where men need to be strengthened so they can develop stronger families and be better husbands, and better leaders, better pastors. I'll change gears for a second if you allow me to.
Free flow.
I think one of the greatest things, again, I would say this, that a man really needs encouragement. There's a lot of male bashing going on. A lot of male bashing. People look at men, and there's already a stigma put on them that, that men are dogs, or men are controlling, or, the word that's out there now, narcissists. And people taking that word and stretching it across a wide globe for men.
Yeah, true.
Narcissists, they're morbid, they're callous. A lot of this is because they're not encouraged. They're not loved and appreciated. So they kind of develop a callous heart because they need a positive affirmation. They need someone to say that you're a good man. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for trying. Thank you for your input. Thank you for all the things that you have done. And I think if you're going to strengthen a man, you got to strengthen him in small dosages. Celebrate his small victories. Don't wait till something gigantic happens. Thank him for buying the groceries this week. That'll get him stronger to keep him encouraged. Um, and thank you for taking care of the bills, man. You don't put that strain on us. Sometimes he just needs to be celebrated. And Father's Day is not enough to do that. His birthday, you got to kind of keep him charged. Men need that. We need to be fueled. And most times we're fueled by your respect and honor for us. And we got to have it. We love to be appreciated. And so a man is weak without that. And he becomes even more weak when he's discouraged. So the family, the wife, children, and even other men, and this is what I try to do with our men here, is try to find something to encourage them about. A brother had his birthday the other day, and at the same time he was graduating from college. And man, I made a big deal out of it because he doesn't get it from everybody. It has to happen. What does it do for him? It makes him want to reach for more. So that's what strengthens a man. I mean, he's got to be encouraged, and that is his fuel. Say something positive to him. Say something to him that that celebrates him. That's I'm probably said this before in another broadcast, but a man is running to where he's celebrated. So he's going to go either to a bar or somewhere that someone's going to say. And he walks in, they call his name. Oh man, I'm here in my spot.
That's right.
Home, and he's like a piece of furniture sitting in there. Yeah, he's probably not coming there to be. That's why most men buy dogs. No matter when that man comes, that dog gonna get there and wag his tail and be excited to see it. If the family can understand, man, the priest is here, the man is here, the champ is here, and then that man will feel great about whatever he's doing. It'll strengthen him to do more.
This is really, really good stuff. It's really, and I hope everybody that would come in and listen in on the replay of this will get this, will share this, especially with all of our men, because we're talking about strong men need strength too. I come from a large family, Bishop. I come from a family of 6 brothers,
Wow.
a family of 8, right? I have 6 brothers and 1 sister. And my sister and I are like 6 years apart. So there's this big gap of all these brothers and, sandwiched in between us, and I'm the 6th child. So I'm at the bottom of all of these boys. And so, even with all of what you're saying, I can definitely attest to it all. I posted just the other day on Facebook as it relates to my father. My father taught me a lot of things. I was a little Tom girl coming up. He took me hunting with him. He's a contractor, a carpenter. He took me to work with him in the summertime because my mom is a nurse. So she would be at work. And of course, he didn't want to leave me home with all of the boys. So my sister didn't want to be bothered with me because she's 6 years older than me. She didn't want her little sister tagging along. So my dad used to take me around with him. I went hunting with my dad. I would go to work with him, and he would give me little light chores to do. He would say, Mary, I need you to go sweep up the sawdust. If they were building something, you can go sweep the sawdust up. I need you to go over there and sweep up that, just to give me something to do. And so as it relates to having a present father there, as you were saying, and all of the discouragement that men go through, and the things that they endure alone. I watch it over the period of years from my own family with my own brothers and my father too. Some of the things that men really need to be poured in, to be ignited. I share with women all the time, somebody's stroking him. When he go to the barber, he's being stroked, and this is real talk. The barber is stroking him. He lining him up right. He getting his beard tightened right line. Man, this cut is going to be fire on you. Somebody's stroking him. When he's driving in the truck and he's turning a corner, and they're telling, man, you know how to drive this truck, bro. You turning them corners. You know how to drive. You know how to handle this truck. So he is getting stroked everywhere he go on the job, in the workplace, wherever he is. Somebody is actually stroking him, is building him up. And so, like you said, where a man is celebrated and appreciated, there he's gonna find pleasure in that. That's why he don't mind getting up, turning the corners, going to work. That's why he doesn't mind being at the barbershop. Wherever he is, there's somebody that in some place will build him up. Right. Bishop, I was in a restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants that I love to go eat at. I'm not going to say where that place is because of the next conversation of discussion that I'm about to go in. But there was this man that came into the restaurant. And I was actually seated at the bar section because the restaurant, I didn't make reservations, and I went into it and I wanted to eat. And they asked me, do you mind sitting at the bar? I said, no problem. I sit at the bar. So I sat at the bar. And as I'm on the phone, and I'm looking on the phone, and I'm waiting for my meal to come, this man that sits beside me, and he's talking on the phone. He's having a conversation. This man is from Jerusalem. And this man frequents this restaurant. Everybody in the restaurant knew who he was. So he began having a conversation. And because I'm real talk, and because I like to talk, I engage in this conversation. So he was talking about women. And this is something that we discovered. He and I talked. And he had 2 phones. And I shared this before. The man had actually 2 phones, Bishop. He said, this is my work phone, and this is my phone that I do other things with, my other business with. This is one that I handle business, and this is my personal private phone. So me, with my inquisitive self, I said, why do you need 2 phones, sir? He talked to me, Bishop, and told me that he deals with this phone with his women, and this other phone is for his wife. And I'm going somewhere with this story. And he said, listen, don't get me wrong. He said, my wife is beautiful. My wife is fine. My wife takes care of the home. She takes care of the children. She does all of that. I love my wife. He said, but when I'm with my woman, and I'm being real here, he said, I get peace there. He said, that's where I find peace. He said, because when I get home, it's so chaotic and I can't find any rest. And he said, I have all. Now, this man is a multimillionaire. And he said that he loves his wife. He takes care of his home. He takes care of his family. But when he goes home, there is no peace. There's no peace. And he said, now this woman that he's with, he said, this woman, he's not in love with her. This is not where he really wants to be, but it's his place of escape. This is the place where he can go. He's encouraged, he says. He's celebrated, he's strengthened, and he finds peace when he go there. Now, this is real talk, Mary J. By no means am I ever condoning or endorsing divorce, adultery, or any of that. But I'm saying this to say, when I talk about strong men need strength too, when we talk about the weaknesses of a man and the things that men go through, and a lot of times women will be discouraged and upset, like, but this woman don't even measure up to me. But he said that. Mm-hmm. But it was his place of peace. He said, Mary J, when I lay there and I lay my head, I can find rest, no stress. That's what he said to me. Yeah. No stress. I can find rest there. And so I want every woman that is listening to this, every woman that will hear this replay, and when we're talking about strong men need strength too, I talked about it already, that rib, that you're that rib, you're that place of safety where his heart is and all of his vital organs, where All of that is protected. Strong men need strength too. We have to be that place of peace. We have to be that place of encouragement. We have to be that place of even protection as it relates to the heart of the man. A lot of times, Bishop, we talk about the man being the protector, the provider, the prophet, and the priest of the home. But we as women are the protective of the heart of our man. And a lot of times we miss that.
Right.
And I'm saying this because I can't go in deep discussions as it relates to some of the women in my family that I see that are always talking negatively, that are always putting their man down, that are always saying what he's not doing, what they wish he would do. So I just say, listen, speak into existence what you want to see. Keep building them up, as you said, sir.
Right.
Keep stroking them, keep building them up. I'm sure he's doing something right. I'm sure he's making some strides. So can you just kind of expound on that?
Yeah.
Can you bring us to that place, sir?
Let me put my disclaimer out. I don't condone the actions of the brother, but at the same time, no one can provide what they don't have. And so if a person is not, they don't have peace, they can give you peace. They can give you peace. So a lot of men are married to beautiful, successful, caring, loving women, but they're distraught and they're broken. I was telling my son, who's 22, says, somebody out here looking for a woman or a girlfriend, make sure that you don't end up with a broken Barbie. And you got
good stuff.
Pretty girl, but she's broken. And she's still in the container.
Yeah.
And she's looked like she's never been handled, but some kind of way in transition, she's gotten broken, and you don't see it because she's behind the paper and looks perfectly fine, but it's broken. You pull it out, the head gonna fall off. So don't buy into the broken Barbie. I can't give you what I don't possess. They're broken.
That's good.
And so a man is putting his money into somewhat of a vending machine, and out in front of the machine, right on the front of it, it says out of order. You see all the stuff that you want inside this person, and you keep putting your money in, but you're not reading that sign. It says out of order. I'm broken. I cannot give you what's inside of me. And so this is why a lot of men move on somewhere else. It's not because of a heart matter. They felt like they needed to cheat. They're just looking for a place like Samson. I need a place to just rest my head. I'm out here fighting wars and winning battles and, coming against armies and coming against this real life. And so much is expected of me. Everywhere I turn, can I just be a man for a moment?
Yes.
And that's what the average man who's really successful or trying to be successful, he just needs a moment where he can just take off all responsibilities, all titles, expectancies, and then, sad to say, he ends up somewhere he has no business being. The other part of it is, a lot of times the man is doing his very best and giving you everything he could think of giving you at home, but you don't appreciate it. And the man, that weakens his ability because the man is built in an image of God.
Yes.
God loves praise. Praise ignites God. He inhabits the praises of his people. A man inhabits, he loves the praises of his wife. And I'll tell you what, you really want to get God moving, show him how much you need him, how much you depend on him. The biggest sin, people say, man, adultery and fornication. I think the biggest sin we can commit against God is not to believe and trust him. Trust in him. Anything done outside of faith is a sin. When we don't trust our man to provide, to take care, or we become, to a place where he's irrelevant, and some people got to the place they make enough money, they feel like they don't need the man. The man's going to find somebody that needs him.
That's right.
He's going to find somebody he's relevant to. So you got to keep something for him to be needed for. He's going to show up where he's relevant. And a man can be an old man, um, sitting in a chair, or sitting in a lazy, well, a grandfather, and he's dwindling away. He's about to die. Till the grandkids come by and say, "Grandpa, could you help me with this?" And then you see him come back to life because someone needed him.
That's right.
Someone needed him. And you got to always, if you're talking to women, you got to always need your man for something. Even if you don't need him, leave it so he can do it. Hey,
That's
I
right.
can't get the top off this jar. You know, oh, get that to me.
Yeah.
But you got to make him feel like he's needed. And a lot of women have not been trained by other women to strengthen their man. You
Mhm.
watched it historically to drag your man down to the mud, to emasculate him, to just talk about him like a dog, to tell your girlfriends about stuff you shouldn't be telling them about, uh,
Right.
private matters. So now, you've done that. You've done it, but that's come from a lack of training from foreparents.
Mhm.
So we got to do a better job in this season to train women how to keep that man going strong. That's very important.
Absolutely. Bishop, this is real talk. This is real good stuff. I remember you saying before you have to marry your ministry. Marry someone who can complement you
Yeah.
and be that partner in ministry of where God is taking you. You know, one of the things that was profound to me, what I was told some years ago. I've been divorced over 10 years now. And I had someone tell me, Mary J, you married where you were. You did not marry where you were going. And that was one of the most profound things that I could have ever been
Mhm.
told, because a lot of times we marry our state of where we are right now, but we don't marry when we see the big vision and what God has for us. We don't join ourselves and connect ourselves with a partner in life that can take us to the next place or the next level of where we're
Right,
going. So, Bishop,
right.
we have just a few minutes left um, on the air as we're closing out. We got about 5 more minutes left. I want you to share with the people, particularly our men, because strong men need strength too. And listen, we're cheering on you all on, men. I want Bishop to share with you all what advice can you leave with them, Bishop, on today as it relates to our strong man needing strength. Share with them some words of wisdom if you don't mind, sir.
Well, I think this has worked for me, and I hope it'll work for brothers as well. When you are on a continuous journey, striving to be the best that you can be, and you are doing all that you know to do for your family, and you are taking care of everybody, it's important for you to understand the the severity of taking care of yourself. You got this so serious because you cannot help your family, can't be successful if you're not taking care of yourself. So one of the things you got to do is break away from all the responsibilities and find a place of rest. I don't know what that is. It could be going fishing or taking a trip or doing something, but you need some alone time. Most of the successful men that we find in the Bible went to a mountain, or went out on a boat fishing, or did something. Even Jesus himself spent time alone to recharge, reset, re-engage, recalibrate, because you're no good if you just keep going. So if you're going to be strong and continue to be strengthened, you got to learn to turn the engine off, refuel, and take a moment to put some things in order mentally, emotionally, in your mind. A lot of times we just continue to go, one project to the next. In my life, I'm doing father, husband, pastor, counselor, business, one thing to the next. And some days, man, just I'm exhausted. And I got to learn. I had to learn, rather, because it affects your health. It
Mhm.
affects everything you're doing. And what good is everything you're doing if you don't have your health? If you don't have, you can have all the wealth in the world. Now you ruin your health because you just kept going. So let me just advise you to stop for a moment, pause before you proceed, and rest. Get your adequate amount of sleep. Get around people who feed you positive information. Don't just hang around a circle of people who need your advice. Get around encouragers. Be intentional about that. Get around people who speak positive affirmations over your life. Everybody can't speak over you. So then find an individual that knows, has enough discernment, enough God in them to say over you what you need to hear, to keep you moving, to keep you charged. Because most of the people you will encounter on the journey to success and being strong, people will rob you of your strength. They're there to take from you. But after you've exhausted yourself, they move on to be with somebody else.
Mm.
So today, you got to learn how to pull up to that station. And you ever read the sign that says, turn your engine off. Turn it off so you can refuel. And don't just start right back. Take a moment to rest, relax, get refreshed. You continue your journey and do it in a greater way. I think that's the best advice I can give a man who needs strength while he's already strong, but you got to rest, man. You got to take back. Even a person that's lifting weights, you can't do that every day. It tells you to take a day to let your muscles heal. So, I'm getting ready to get back in the gym and lift, but I won't be in every day because you tear your muscles down with lifting, but you got to let them heal with rest. So you got to take a day off, take some time off, learn to enjoy life. Don't just work all the time. The Bible tells us about this in Ecclesiastes. Enjoy the fruit of your labor. Sometimes, man, we work, and we don't even enjoy life. Well, we don't get nothing out of it. So learn to reward yourself. And lastly, celebrate every victory, every small, momentous victory that you have. Because very few times somebody's going to celebrate it for you. So learn to celebrate yourself. God bless you.
That is awesome, Bishop, and you look fantastic. You look fantastic. So we see that you've been doing the work, sir. That you maintain the balance, and that you know how to get strength. You know how to pull from whatever you need to pull from to gain your strength. Because strong men definitely need strength too. Bishop, I am just so blessed to have you to share with me once more, just to come on and to share your truth, because I know you don't mind dealing with the real raw and relevant issues of life. So thank you for coming on. This is Bishop Glenn Allen with Destiny Christian Center. We thank God for the man of God that have shared with us on today. Strong men need strength. Listen, you can go to his website, follow him there at Destiny Christian Center, and get all the information. You do learn how you can connect with him, find out about his services, his broadcast. Bishop, can you tell them exactly? I know you there in Fayetteville, Georgia. I remember when you first came on, Bishop, I couldn't even say Fayetteville. I was like,
Yeah, Fayetteville, Georgia. That's where I'm located, right here in this wonderful little city. 182 North Glen Street, by the way. They named the street after me. No, I probably way. But 182 North Glen Street, right here in Fayetteville, Georgia. Our church services are every Sunday at 10 a.m. Of course, you can catch us online, Destiny Christian Center, or just look me up, Glenn B. Allen. It'll bring you right to it on Facebook and YouTube. So every Wednesday, 7 p.m., Sundays at 10 a.m. And so we are grateful again to be on this broadcast with you.
amen. Thank you, Bishop, for sharing. Bishop, don't you have another church that you also planted?
We have a church in Houston. Just boy, prophetic. I got to get to Houston, make sure that I go see my son there in Houston, make sure he's doing good. But we're in Houston as well. I have other sons pastoring in different areas. One in Illinois, and one still in New Orleans. Of course, my brother's Destiny Christian Center in Laplace, Louisiana, and he's doing an amazing job there. And he's getting ready to reopen his facility after the hurricane, and so they're just doing a great job. I'm just glad to be in the midst of all these destinies.
Yes, Bishop Steve, my God, yes. And you know, Bishop, I think I remember sharing this with you, but I actually was in school with Bishop Sam and your baby brother.
Oh, Edward. Yeah.
Yes, I was in school with Bishop Sam and Eddie, back at Beauregard Junior High. We all went to school
Oh
together. So
wow, wow! You
look
go
at
way
God just rerouted the course of our lives.
yeah, you went way back.
Yes, sir.
Well, praise the Lord. I'm sorry that you had to go through all that, but anyway, you made it.
I made it. I made it. I was in good company. I made it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so thank you, Bishop, for sharing with us. Strong men need strength. To everybody that will connect with us and with the great Bishop, I'm sure you're going to be blessed by his services, his broadcasts, just a wealth of information, some substance that you can glean from and continue to grow. Bishop, I just have one question to ask you before we close. And Bishop, I just want to know, did you have a happy Merry Monday today?
Yes. This Monday has been extraordinary with Mary. I tell you, she's this Mary. I know she's an extraordinary woman of God. And I appreciate you so much for your diligence and your faithfulness to this call. And I want to just encourage you to keep moving forward. And the best has not been seen or told yet. You're going to see God's hand move in a very special way. And I'm proud of you. I want you to know that.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. I receive it. I receive it all. You know, you've spoken some things over me before and they have manifested, they come to pass. So I receive all of that as well. Thank you so much, man of God, for sharing with us. Happy Merry Monday to everyone on today.
God bless you.